So 459, we're going to start with the top part, which we're going to do number 1, we'll do number 2, and then number 6. Okay. So for number 1, it says write 3 valid congruency statements for the given triangles. So if I write triangle PTW is congruent to another triangle, what does P have to match with on the other triangle? H, because they both have one arc mark, so those angles are congruent. So H has to go first. Boop, boop. Okay. T I put next. What has to go next? G, and then what's the last one? D. Okay. The first order does not matter. There's technically like 9 combinations of these that you could write out and it be correct. So if you had to do this on the EOC, as long as you wrote one of those, it would be fine. It just needs to make sure like the order matters. Okay. So if I say, let's do TPW and I put T in the front, what has to go first now? G, and then H, and then D. Okay, good. And then let's do WTP. So take a second, try to write the last one, see if you can figure it out. Easy peasy, because there's a bunch of these you could write. Literally, it kind of goes on forever. Okay, Jaden, what is it? Do you know? What? DGH. Okay. So the triangle technically does matter. People were very confused earlier because there is a problem that looks very similar and it says like triangles versus angles. If there's say a triangle, that's because they want you to write a triangle in front of the other congruency statement. If it says an angle, they want you to write it as an angle because sometimes the triangles and the angles like are the same letters. Okay. Also, a congruency symbol means you're using letters. If it was just an equal sign, people are like, well, can I just write an equal sign because congruency is equals? Equals means you're talking about a number. So if they say like angle P equals, then they're looking for an angle measure like 30 degrees. If they say angle P is congruent to something, then they're looking for the matching letter, which P would match with H. So congruency means you're looking for a letter that matches it. An equal sign means like the exact angle measure. So let's go to number 2. So numero 2, we have triangle ABE is congruent to MNP. So we're doing the same thing kind of, but we don't have a picture and we're not going to draw it out. So if I say angle E is congruent to something, how do you know that? Because it's at the end and it matches. E and P match. Okay. So since they're both last, they have to be congruent. So angle E matches with angle P. So take a second, figure out the last 2 angles. Oh, I just wrote it. Whoops. Okay. Try to figure these out. Genius. Was A match with M, and what's B match with? N. Okay. Sides are like the same way, but you can't use one letter. One letter represents an angle. Okay. Sides represent 2 letters because it's a length. You're going from here to here. So if I say AE is a side and it's congruent to another side, what does A and E match with? M and P, because I used the first and the last. So in the second triangle, you're using the first and the last. So if I say, so take a second, fill in these last 2, see if you can figure out these last ones. They were really focusing on the letters and the rearranging this. Oh, okay. Okay, what's AB match with? MN. And then what does BE match with? NP. So it literally tells you the order. Like if it's in the middle, it matches with the middle. If it's at the first, it's at the first. If it's at the end, it matches with the end. So if I say triangle, because this is one congruency statement, I could write 9 different ones. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say EBA is congruent to something. Try to write your other triangle. Oh, I fair. Yeah. Okay. The valid reason.
Yeah. I didn't hear the reason.
So she's bringing her stuff. So she wants to know how close she is to the premises. Okay, so if I said EBA, then what's it have to be? PNM. PNM. Okay, we're gonna do one math problem and then I'll let you work on these. Let's go to number 6. What? With what?
It's a little project.
What's that? I think, yeah. Yeah, got yours. Hmm? Yeah, I know.
Just call me him.
I can hear.
Or did she say him?
Okay, so number 6, last one we're gonna do. This one kind of involves math, but it also is like finding out the congruent sides. So I think it's super helpful to just find all the sides and the angles first, and then to go back and fill all this in. Because if you try to just do this part, it's kind of overwhelming. I think it's better to just fill in what I can over here and then go back to this and fill it at the end. So let's start with the angles. So angle A is 29 because I'm given it that angle. So that's on the inside of a triangle. So what letter, based on the congruency statement, A matches with what on the other triangle? What? A matches with L because they are both first. So 29 can go where L is. Okay. That's on the inside because it's an angle and angles add to make 180. Okay. So that's the only angle I have. So now let's go over here. AP is 13. What, based on AP, what side is AP congruent to? LX. So I'm going to put 13 where LX is. Now, does anybody know what these little tic tac marks mean? They are congruent. So since I have that tic tac on my picture, I can automatically put 13 on the other side, which that is X. And what does that match with on the first triangle? PC. So I can put 13 here. Okay. So then obviously, what's this AC going to be? 21 because they have 21 here. So 21 can go here. And now 21. Okay. So now the last thing is that we haven't really talked about yet. We talked about isosceles triangles. Does anybody know what an isosceles triangle is? 2 congruent sides. So with an isosceles triangle, you also have some other piece of information that we're talking about after Christmas break. So I'm just going to fill you in now. If you have 2 congruent sides, okay, you also have 2 congruent angles with that. So if I know that this angle is 29, or let's go use this one because we have the ticks. So those are congruent. So if this is 29, what other angles also 29 degrees? Is it X or is it N? N, because it is an acute angle. So this is also 29. And so is C. So I can put 29 over here. Now let's use our big brains that I know are in there somewhere. How much does a triangle add to make on the inside? 180. So can anybody figure out that last angle inside the triangle? 122. So take a second. I know it's a little crazy. It's a little squished. Angles on the inside of the triangle. You're going to have to use that today, triangle. You're going to have to use that today. They add to make 180. The outsides doesn't matter because you can have a triangle this big and you can have a triangle this big. The outsides don't add to make 180. The insides do. So try to fill out all of this information. Try to match up your information because the triangle adds to make 180. So this is 29 plus 29. Plus 122 makes 180, which you will have to use for number 8, 9, and 10. They have to add to make 180. So take a second, fill out all your stuff, see if you can find the right numbers that go there. Tyson, fill out your stuff. You got this. You can do it. I believe in you.
Yo. What? You stepped on my foot again.
Are you guys playing footsies?
No, it's not my fault. I have my
Steps on my foot
You're like a
again.
spider.
I know, it's not my fault. I
Literally,
have
if she steps on my foot again, I'm just gonna shoot her.
Oh, you're gonna.
Yo, it's not that.
That's.
Yo, you just like stomped on my foot.
Claire, you do have really obnoxiously long legs.
No, bro, I touched the chair.
Well, starting
Obnoxious.
obnoxiously long. She's obnoxiously
Yeah,
tall.
that was a great word.
She's like 6'7". Claire.
Yeah, she's saying her.
Yes, 6'7", not Joanne.
How tall is your dad? 6'2". Oh, that's not even that tall.
I'm 6'6".
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
They do it. My dad.
My dad's like 6'5". So is my stepdad. My mom definitely has a pipe. Like tall guys. She's shorter than me, so. Okay, what is XL equal to? 13. AC, what's that? 21. What's PC? 13. What about angle L? 29 degrees. What about angle C? 29 degrees. And last but not least, 122. So I think, honestly, when you're doing these problems, if it has numbers like number 5, you should just move the numbers around before you start trying to figure out everything else, okay? Number 4, there are no numbers. If you notice, number 5 and 6 have equal signs, meaning 5 and 6 want the numbers that it's equal to. Number 4 is congruency statements. So that's like number 1 and number 2 where you're matching the letters. You can cross out number 11 and 12. You don't have to do 11 and 12. Let me know when you get stuck. 8, 9, and 10, you will need to add to make 180 for some things. So if you get stuck on 8, 9, and 10, you're going to have to like add to make 180 to find the other angle in the triangle. Tomorrow.